I'm making a video of how to take care of leopard geckos when it comes to breeding them. I'm going to start off with how to keep the cages clean and what temperatures you should put the cages at. Okay, I use for a substrate, which is paper towel. It's cheap, and I'm sure most people have paper towel, I'm hoping. And you just spread it around in the cage. I use 2 layers, depending on, so I can just take off a layer when they put waste on the paper towel. And it works really well because it's easy to clean and they don't get parasites like sand. And yeah, and then you put, if you want to feed them crickets, which is pretty common food for leopard geckos, you want to separate it and buy like a little container like this. Put them in there and feed them little by little if you know how much your geckos are going to eat. And the heat, I would do a cooling period on them for about 2 months at no power. But if it's really cold, keep the power on. Like if it's like 45 to 50 degrees in your house or whatever, keep it on. But just make sure the power is really low and buy a thermostat if you can. Or just turn off the power, use just one power source. Like I use a heat mat and a heat lamp, which I don't use light since they're nocturnal and they really don't use heat lights. So this one I've just gave birth, today I think, with 2 eggs, and this is the father because this is who she's been with for the breeding season. He's my temper line giant, and she is my super hypo tangerine carrot tail baldy, which I just call her super hypo tangerine. But she has no spots on her head, and she has a carrot tail. It's not very visible from the camera, but she does have one. And he's alone right now. I'm going to get him another humidity box, which also is necessary while breeding. You need to give them moisture, and you need to give them some calcium and plenty of water. The females will especially take the calcium because a lot of her bones, marrow, and all that stuff deteriorates when they have eggs. So you need to give them a lot of calcium, and make sure there's absolutely no D3 that could hurt them, especially leopard geckos. Just because it says all-purpose and has a leopard gecko on it doesn't mean it's good. And they sell it like PetSmart or Petco, and a leopard gecko vitamin that has no D3 in it. Which, let me see if I have that. Okay. This is what I use. You can see that. It just has a leopard gecko on it. It says reptile. It's zoom at it, doesn't have any D3 in it. So I prefer this. If you can, it's about $5 or $6. Then I put the what's it called, the egg laying box. Put it, just use a Tupperware container. That's what I would prefer. That's what I use. Put in some vermiculite in it and put moisture and put it under the heat. Because after the cooling period, you want to turn back on the heat. Then you want to put your male and your female together. Then they'll hopefully breed, and that's what usually happens. And don't do them underage. I would only do it about a year or more. Nothing under a year, because they're going to be way too small to breed, and that could really hurt them and they'll stop growing. Then you buy an incubator, like I bought mine from lllreptiles. I bought an incubator there. Is the best one that they had. It was the huvabator picture top incubator, and I will show you it. This is it. It has an airflow thermostat. Then I bought a digital thermometer, and it's at 83.5, and that's the maximum you want to have it. Well, sorry, 84.5. Sorry, not 83. Is what you want maximum. Then you have to have a fan. That helps. It makes circulation, increases your chance of being successful. Then I just put in some moisture. It'll come with a tub and a screen. Then in the tub you fill it up with water. Then the heat will evaporate. If you can see that, there's steam right there. But that's not a lot. That's been like for a few days, and don't open it unless you're going to put more moisture in there, because losing all the heat could hurt the eggs. And the first 2 weeks really matters, because that's when they turn male or female. Like mine are most likely going to be male. No, sorry, female. That's what I'm trying to do. I hope I don't get any cold males, because they're going to be useless for selling and breeding. And, well, it's at its maximum temperature right now. It's 84.4 or 5. But then make sure your cages are big. They cannot be 10 or 20 gallon tanks for 2 leopard geckos. At least while breeding, you can have 2 leopard geckos in a 20 gallon tank. But these are big square ones, and you can have like up to 8 leopard geckos. Right now there's 4 in here, and that's all I'm going to put in. And if I said this, don't put your males together. They'll fight for breeding rights, especially during breeding season, and they'll kill each other. And sometimes the males will attack the male while breeding. The female will bite the male while breeding. I'm sorry. Then just make sure plenty of water, calcium, moist box, egg laying boxes for vermiculite, and about 80 some degrees in the tank.